In a hidden warehouse, Damien meets with a gang leader to collect his share of illegal goods for sale. The boss is suspicious of Damien's nervous behavior and pulls him aside to discuss a rumor about a snitch in their group. When Damien feigns innocence, the boss reveals that he knows Damien is actually an undercover cop. Cornered, Damien pulls out his gun and fights off the group of thugs using his weapon and combat skills. After successfully fending off the attackers, he steps back and is struck by an oncoming car, leaving him injured but still alert. He rushes to capture the gang leader, only to discover that his true identity has been exposed, putting his wife in danger as tells him that he already knows where he lives and have met his wife. Panicked, he races home, only to find it in mess and sees that she has been murdered in their bedroom. Years later, Simon starts a new teaching job at a local school and learns that a student has gone missing for the second consecutive time. The other students explain that this boy is tangled in addiction, and Amelia, a former addict herself, attempted to reach out but was ignored. Camille, Simon's son, receives a heartbreaking call from the missing boy's mother, and she tells him her son has been found dead. This tragic incident is not isolated. The school has a severe problem with illegal drugs on campus. Fed up with the ongoing losses due to addiction, Simon decides to contact his closest friend, Damien, for assistance. As night falls, Damien finally resolves to visit Simon and have dinner with them. After they're done eating, Damien learns about the school's addiction struggles, though Kamal overhears their conversation as Damien ultimately declines to help, stating he can't even take care of himself and that he is busy. He tells Simon to leave the issue to the authorities. Later, while at a store buying alcohol, 3 guys attempt to rob him. Meanwhile, Simon goes and tries to sneak into a warehouse mentioned by one of the kids, but he gets caught at the entrance. The following morning, the news breaks that Simon was found dead in the warehouse. Due to the circumstances of his death, the police declared him a suspect in the drug operation, claiming he took his own life out of guilt for his student's death. Damien, convinced his friend has been framed, goes to Simon's home to investigate. The place is swamped with reporters who are there to do a report, and they start pestering him with questions as he arrives. Determined to clear his friend's name, Damien reaches out to an unsavory acquaintance for fake documentation. He then goes to the school, posing as a teacher seeking Simon's former position. Their conversation turns awkward as the secretary warns him that the school is too dangerous to apply and that he should go somewhere else. In a twist, Principal Leszek hires Damien on the spot as he is the only applicant and assures him of safety with a security detail. He then introduces him to Agatha, the deputy principal, who will provide a tour when he starts working. On his first day, Damien spots a student named Jaro stealing flowers from a memorial for the deceased student and tries to stop him. Jaro retaliates and calls over his gang member Mammoth for help, but Mammoth's shyness prevents him from acting aggressively. Before tensions escalate, Chmielski, the security chief, arrives and swiftly deals with Jaro and his companion. Afterward, she introduces him to the staff, including chemistry teacher Stefan, before leading him to his class, noting that Kamil is still absent due to grief. The class is rowdy. They ask if he is also a dealer just like their old teacher, but Damien quickly asserts control by confiscating a phone and ignoring the students' taunts. At the end of the day, Principal Leszek finds Damien getting ready for tomorrow's lesson and leaves after mentioning the incident with Frogface. Later, while Agatha is in the parking lot, Frogface and his gang confront her, having stolen her car keys, planning to retaliate. In the meanwhile, Damien discovers that someone has slashed his tires. As another teacher offers him a ride home, they notice Agatha in trouble and rush to her aid. Damien easily beats Frogface and his friends despite one wielding a weapon. He ends up with a minor injury on his hand, but continues fighting until Frogface flees in fear. Agatha takes him back to school to bandage his hand and asks about himself, but instead of full answers, Damien teaches her self-defense techniques. Back at the gang's headquarters, Frogface is taken to Jaro, who is involved in the drug trade at school under a boss. When their boss approaches on a bike and removes his helmet, it is revealed to be Chmielski. Frogface begs Chmielski not to kill him and that he did it get some more extra money. Both Yarrow and Chmielski blame Frogface for the trouble he's incurred and demand he pay for it. Jarrow encourages Mammoth to participate in the beating, hoping it will help him overcome his timidity and gain acceptance in the gang. Jarrow takes Mammoth aside and asks if he wants to join them and if he will be accepting orders. The next morning, Damien returns to find his car being towed by the order of the principal. In the teacher's lounge, colleagues watch the security footage of his previous encounter, and Principal Leszek tells him they will cover the costs of towing and new tires as a thank you for helping Ahata. Chmielski grows suspicious of Damien's fighting skills and asks who he is, but Damien insists he's just a teacher. Later, when Damien arrives in class, he sees the students buzzing about the footage of his earlier fight. They're excited to have him as their teacher and bombard him with questions, particularly about self-defense. Amused, Damien proposes a deal and takes them to the gym. If any of them can land a hit on him, there will be no final exam. Unsurprisingly, none succeed, but they enjoy the experience, and during this, Damien notices Camille watching, but he leaves once he recognizes who Damien is. Determined to have a talk, Damien follows Camille to the locker room to explain his purpose at the school and his desire to uncover the truth about Simon. Camille, however, lashes out at Damien, furious that he abandoned his father at his most vulnerable. Through their intense exchange, Camille eventually agrees to keep protecting Damien's secret. At the end of the day, Damien's car has been returned in great condition, and he asks Agatha on a date. They have fun at a bar until trouble arises when Damien defends two girls from drunken men hurling slurs at them. When those men refuse to back down, another brawl ensues. Since they are heavily intoxicated, Damien toys with them, lightening the mood for Agatha. After the confrontation, Agatha invites him back to her apartment, where the two share a moment of intimacy, but Damien suddenly feels overwhelmed by memories of his late wife and quietly slips away, leaving Agatha in confusion. On his way home, he spots Mammoth involved in the drug trade and takes the opportunity to admonish him, reminding him of his intelligence and his potential to avoid this kind of life. Back at school, Emilia sees a friend purchasing drugs and tries to intervene, but Jarrow quickly orders his thugs to seize her. Camille rushes to assist Emilia, but is no match for the gang and is beaten. Jarrow uses Camille as an example of what will happen if anyone else intervenes in the future. When Damien arrives at school, he finds that Agatha is now treating him with icy attitude, disregarding their previous connection. He notices Camille with bruises on his face, but the teen insists he simply fell, and none dare to inform on Jarrow. Upset, Damien scolds the class for not standing up for themselves, to which they reply that they lack the skills. Wanting to empower them, Damien invites the students to his old dojo after school. Upon arrival, they are greeted with a shabby dojo that almost discourages them, but Camille encourages his classmates to stay. Over the course of a few days, they work together to clear out the dojo, and Damien revels in teaching them self-defense as he witnesses their rapid growth. At school, he continues teaching history and tries to rebuild his rapport with Agatha, but she keeps him at arm's length. During his free time, Damien discreetly tracks gang members to gather information, which leads to a successful police raid on their operation. This accomplishment brings him a sense of achievement, although he remains unaware that Chmielski is keeping tabs on him. As tensions in the gang rise, they decide to address Damien. Later, during practice at the dojo, Damien is confronted by a group of masked men armed with sticks. Despite his injuries, he manages to fend them off expertly. The next day at school, he notices Chmielski's security team looking unwell and finally realizes they are involved in the gang. Instead of revealing his suspicion, he teases Chmielski, which infuriates him. Meanwhile, Yarrow and the gang approach Emilia's father under the pretense of needing help with an old watch from the day Simon died. The father is frightened and asks them to leave, but when Yarrow grows threatening, Emilia intervenes, forcing her father away and confronting Yarrow. He grabs Emilia by the hair, demanding she helps him or risk her father's safety. The next day, Principal Leszek confronts Damien, saying that Emilia reported on him for molesting her at the dojo and asks what he has to say. He leaves the school and Camille yells at him for what they said he did. Damien goes to see Amelia before he goes to Agatha and takes her keys when she threatens to call the police. He calls Agatha and tells her what he saw. They both go and report it to Principal Leszek, who informs Agatha that she needs to clean out Stefan's locker while he speaks with Amelia, who is coming to confess what she knows. Later, Camille and his friends visit the dojo to apologize to Damien for previously misunderstanding him. Their reunion is abruptly interrupted by a call from Agatha, revealing that Amelia has been attacked and is now in a coma. When they reach the hospital, Agatha reveals the notebook contains a map outlining the warehouse and the locations of hidden drugs. In the evening, Damien heads to the warehouse, unaware that Chmielski is still monitoring him. Upon arrival, he swiftly knocks out the first guard he sees, only to be startled by Agatha, who has come to join him. They follow the map to locate the drugs easily, but soon find themselves surrounded by Chmielski, Jaro, and an unexpected leader, Principal Leszek. He reveals his disdain for the current generation's apathy toward their education and taunts Damien with Simon's watch. As tensions rise, Mammoth, having realized the folly of his ways, arrives with the class to help Damien. An intense battle ensues, with Damien watching proudly as his students showcase their newfound skills by taking down the gang members, including Jaro. In the chaos, Chmielski attempts to flee, and Damien pursues him, where a fight breaks out involving weapons. When Chmielski prepares to electrocute Damien with exposed wires, Damien disarms him with a kick. Just then, Camille shows up, distracting Chmielski long enough for Damien to push him into the live wires, killing him. Afterward, they seek Agatha, who is being held at gunpoint by Leszek. Undeterred, Damien strikes him, freeing Agatha, but Leszek soon reveals he has another weapon hidden, prompting Camille to intervene by dropping a container of toys on him, finally neutralizing the principal. As they catch their breath, Damien retrieves Simon's watch, handing it to Camille as a memento of his father while they watch the police and ambulances arrive to manage the aftermath of their courageous stand.